What if Rick Simon's legendary red and white Dodge Macho Power Wagon was never supposed to be on television? What if the truck that defined 1980s action TV was a production mistake that cost the network thousands and nearly killed a stunt driver? This isn't just a truck. It's a rare beast that broke down constantly, violated safety regulations, and hid secrets that Simon and Simon fans never discovered. Number 20. Only 1,000 Macho Power Wagons were ever manufactured. Rick Simon's truck wasn't just any Dodge Power Wagon, it was a Macho Power Wagon, one of the rarest factory-modified trucks ever produced. In 1977, Dodge partnered with a California customization company to create a limited run of heavy-duty Power Wagons with aggressive styling packages. They only manufactured 1,000 units total before discontinuing the line. The Macho package included massive chrome roll bars, custom striping, upgraded suspension, heavy-duty bumpers, and distinctive red and white two-tone paint schemes. These trucks cost $8,500 new, which was extraordinarily expensive for a pickup in the late 70s. Here's what makes this significant. When Simon and Simon's producers went searching for a vehicle that would represent Rick's rough and tumble personality in 1981, they struggled to find suitable Macho Power Wagons because so few existed. Most had already been destroyed in off-road accidents or modified beyond recognition by their owners. The production team spent 6 weeks tracking down 3 acceptable examples. They purchased 2 outright for $22,000 combined and leased a third as a backup. That means one of television's most iconic vehicles was already a rare collectible before it ever appeared on screen. Number 19. The truck's roll bars were fake and collapsed during a stunt.
Well, it usually has to do with the phone number and the time for the date.
It's good news for the city of San Diego when
Those impressive chrome roll bars that made the Macho Power Wagon look so tough were mostly for show. The factory roll bars were decorative styling elements, not legitimate safety equipment designed to protect occupants during rollovers. This was standard practice in the 1970s when truck customization prioritized appearance over engineering integrity. The production discovered this terrifying reality during season 2 when a stunt sequence went catastrophically wrong. The script called for Rick's truck to drive through a wooden fence and down a steep embankment. Stunt coordinator Bobby Bass assured everyone the roll bars would protect the driver if anything went sideways. During the first take, the Power Wagon hit an unexpected boulder halfway down the slope and began rolling. The chrome roll bars immediately buckled and collapsed inward, nearly crushing stunt driver Buddy Joe Hooker. Hooker escaped with bruised ribs and a concussion, but he could have been killed. Production shut down for 4 days while the insurance company investigated. The solution cost $18,000. A fabrication shop reinforced all 3 Power Wagons with hidden internal roll cages made from proper DOM tubing, then restored the chrome cosmetic bars over the structural protection. Every subsequent stunt required engineering certification before cameras rolled. Number 18. Gerald McRaney didn't know how to drive a manual transmission.
Right.
Gerald McRaney landed the role of Rick Simon based on his rugged Southern charm and acting credentials. But there was one massive problem nobody discovered until the first day of filming. McRaney had never learned to drive a manual transmission, and the Dodge Macho Power Wagon had a 4-speed stick shift. The premiere episode featured extensive driving sequences where Rick had to navigate Los Angeles traffic while delivering dialogue. McRaney kept stalling the truck, grinding gears, and lurching through intersections. The first day of production was a disaster that produced less than 2 minutes of usable footage. Director Bob Brawlver seriously considered replacing McRaney or switching to an automatic transmission Power Wagon. But the automatic option didn't exist because the Macho package only came with manual transmissions. The solution required McRaney to take an intensive 3-day crash course with a professional driving instructor. He practiced constantly in a studio parking lot, learning to coordinate the clutch, throttle, and shifter while simultaneously acting. By day 4, he could handle the basics, but scenes requiring complex driving continued to challenge him throughout season 1. You can spot his struggles in early episodes where Rick's gear changes look awkward and hesitant. By season 3, McRaney had become genuinely skilled and could perform most driving stunts without a double. Number 17. The red and white paint job had to be completely redone every season. That iconic red and white two-tone paint scheme wasn't just a visual trademark, it was a maintenance nightmare that consumed thousands of dollars every single year. The Macho Power Wagon's factory paint was automotive-grade acrylic enamel designed for normal street use, not the brutal punishment of television production. Between the intense Southern California sun, constant driving through dust and dirt for location shoots, and the weekly abuse from action sequences, the paint deteriorated rapidly. By the end of season 1, the truck looked faded and scratched beyond acceptable standards for broadcast television. The production had no choice but to completely strip and repaint all 3 Power Wagons during the hiatus. This wasn't a simple respray. The two-tone design required precise masking, multiple coats, and careful color matching to maintain consistency across all 3 vehicles. Each complete paint job cost $4,500 per truck. Over the show's 8-season run, the production spent over $100,000 just maintaining that paint scheme. Here's the frustrating part. Modern automotive paint technology could have prevented most of this deterioration, but it didn't exist in the early 1980s. The crew considered switching to a solid color to reduce costs, but test audiences overwhelmingly preferred the distinctive two-tone look. Number 16. The truck's fuel tank leaked gasoline on set and nearly caused a fire. During season 3 filming, a crew member noticed a strong gasoline smell around the Power Wagon between takes. Investigation revealed that the factory fuel tank had developed a hairline crack and was slowly leaking fuel onto the hot exhaust system. This was an absolute catastrophe waiting to happen. The 1979 Dodge Power Wagon used a steel fuel tank mounted directly under the truck bed with minimal shielding. Years of off-road driving for the show had caused the tank to flex and stress until metal fatigue created the crack. The real danger came from the truck's positioning during filming. Directors loved parking the Power Wagon near practical explosions and pyrotechnic effects because it looked dramatic on camera. If gasoline vapors had ignited during any of those sequences, the entire vehicle could have exploded with crew members standing nearby. Production immediately grounded all 3 trucks and had custom aluminum fuel cells fabricated and installed at a cost of $6,000 per vehicle. The new tanks were aircraft-grade aluminum with internal baffling and improved mounting systems. The modification added 45 pounds to each truck, but eliminated the fire risk. Insurance investigators later determined that the production had been approximately 3 days away from a potentially fatal accident when the leak was discovered.
Number 15. The original exhaust system was replaced with custom headers for better sound.
Television is as much about sound as visuals, and the producers wanted Rick's truck to sound as aggressive as it looked. The problem was, the factory exhaust system on the Dodge 360 cubic inch V8 engine sounded too civilized and quiet for an action show. The stock manifolds and mufflers were designed to meet 1970s emissions and noise regulations, which meant the truck purred rather than growled. Audio engineers complained constantly that they had to artificially enhance the engine sounds in post-production, which added costs and sounded fake through television speakers. The solution came during the season 1 hiatus. A performance shop installed custom long-tube headers, high-flow catalytic converters, and straight-through performance mufflers on all 3 Power Wagons. The modification cost $3,200 per truck and immediately transformed the exhaust note into an aggressive rumble that microphones could capture naturally. But here's the unintended consequence. The new exhaust system was significantly louder than legal street limits in California. The trucks could no longer be driven on public roads without risking citations. Production had to obtain special permits for every location shoot involving public streets and keep decibel meters on hand to prove compliance during filming. The performance exhaust also reduced fuel economy by 18%, increasing gasoline costs throughout the remaining 7 seasons. Number 14. The bench seat was replaced with bucket seats that violated period accuracy.
Back down to that beach at 4 a.m. with a fishing pole and a full cooler.
The original Dodge Macho Power Wagon came equipped with a standard bench seat that could accommodate 3 people across. This made perfect sense for a work truck in 1979, but the producers faced a significant problem when filming dialogue scenes inside the cabin. The bench seat positioned Gerald McRaney and guest actors so far apart that getting both faces in frame simultaneously required awkward camera angles. The The solution was replacing the factory bench with custom bucket seats borrowed from a Dodge Ramcharger SUV. The modification improved camera framing dramatically and made the interior look more sporty. Here's where continuity-obsessed fans noticed problems. The bucket seats were from a 1982 model, 3 years newer than Rick's supposed 1979 truck. The seat design, stitching pattern, and headrest style were completely wrong for the period. Sharp-eyed viewers wrote letters to the production pointing out the anachronism. By season 4, the mistake had been established for so long that fixing it would create even worse continuity errors. The production just ignored the complaints. Those bucket seats remained in all 3 trucks through the final episode in 1988. Restoration experts today consider the Simon & Simon Power Wagons historically inaccurate because of this single interior modification that nobody initially thought would matter. Number 13. The original tires were discontinued and replaced with incorrect sizes.
Floors and everything are really good. And you can see the shocks.
The Macho Power Wagon originally rolled on specific 10-15 light truck tires that were already becoming rare by 1981. These were aggressive all-terrain tires with deep lugs designed for serious off-road capability. Each tire cost $185, and the production went through sets rapidly due to the demanding filming schedule. During season 2, the tire manufacturer discontinued that specific model entirely, leaving the production scrambling for replacements. The prop department tried finding remaining stock from tire dealers across California, but could only locate 14 used tires in acceptable condition. Those wouldn't last half a season. The solution involved switching to a different tire brand with similar appearance, but slightly different dimensions. The new tires were 33 inches tall instead of the original 31 inches, which raised the truck's ride height by 2 inches and changed the speedometer accuracy. More problematically, the new tires had a different tread pattern that fans immediately noticed. Angry letters poured in from truck enthusiasts demanding consistency. The production couldn't afford to care about tire accuracy when they were burning through sets every 6 weeks. By the final season, the 3 Power Wagons were running 3 completely different tire brands because the prop department bought whatever was available and affordable. Number 12. Camera mounting equipment added 300 pounds to the truck's weight.
To swap in a 440, but it wouldn't clear the steering box, so they gave up.
Getting those spectacular driving shots required mounting heavy camera equipment directly onto the Power Wagon's frame and body. The production used specialized rigs that clamped onto the roll bars, bolted into the truck bed, and attached to custom reinforcement points welded underneath the chassis. A complete camera package, including the Mitchell mount, camera body, lenses, battery packs, and safety rigging, weighed approximately 300 pounds. This additional weight stressed every mechanical system on the truck. The suspension sagged noticeably whenever cameras were installed, requiring the crew to adjust tire pressure and load leveling bolts before each shot. The brakes struggled even more than usual because the already heavy truck now exceeded 6,000 pounds, fully rigged. Stopping distances increased dangerously during action sequences. The transmission and clutch wore out twice as fast under the additional load. Here's the expensive consequence. The production had to rebuild the transmission on each truck every single season at a cost of $4,000 per rebuild. 24 transmission rebuilds over 8 seasons totaled $96,000, spent just repairing damage caused by camera equipment. Stunt coordinators eventually limited camera-mounted shots to necessary sequences only because the equipment was literally destroying the trucks faster than mechanics could repair them. Number 11. The power steering pump failed every 6 weeks due to oversized tires.
Dodge Macho Power Wagon wasn't just a prop, it was the embodiment of a chaotic era in Hollywood.
The oversized 33-inch tires that replaced the original rubber created a catastrophic engineering problem that plagued production for 8 years. Those massive tires increased rolling resistance and steering effort exponentially beyond what the factory power steering system was designed to handle. The hydraulic pump worked overtime every single time Gerald McRaney turned the wheel, especially during low-speed parking maneuvers required for filming. The constant strain caused the power steering pump to fail approximately every 6 weeks throughout the entire series run. Each failure meant the truck became nearly impossible to steer until mechanics replaced the pump at a cost of $350 plus labor. Over 8 seasons, the production replaced power steering pumps 78 times across all 3 vehicles. That's $27,300 spent on a single component. Here's the frustrating part. Upgrading to a heavy-duty power steering system designed for larger tires would have cost $2,000 per truck and solved the problem permanently. But the prop department never received approval for that expenditure because accountants viewed it as unnecessary when cheaper temporary fixes kept the trucks operational. McRaney developed noticeably stronger arms over the years from wrestling with failing power steering during long filming days. Number 10. The truck had no air conditioning and cast members suffered heat exhaustion.
Inside Danny's been slipping out the microchips and fudging his delivery records.
The 1979 Dodge Macho Power Wagon came from the factory without air conditioning. This was standard for work trucks in that era because air conditioning was considered an unnecessary luxury that reduced payload capacity and fuel economy. For a television production filming year-round in Southern California, this created brutal working conditions. Interior dialogue scenes required closing the windows to control ambient noise, trapping Gerald McRaney and his co-stars inside a metal box that routinely exceeded 115 degrees Fahrenheit. During season 3, McRaney collapsed from heat exhaustion after filming a particularly long dialogue sequence in the San Fernando Valley during a summer heat wave. Paramedics treated him on location and production shut down for the remainder of that day. The incident cost $22,000 in lost time and forced the network to implement mandatory heat safety protocols. Between takes, production assistants aimed industrial fans through the open doors while actors rehydrated. The crew kept coolers of ice water and cooling towels on standby. Despite these precautions, 3 other cast members experienced heat-related illness over the subsequent 5 seasons. The Actors Union eventually mandated that interior scenes filmed above 95 degrees could not exceed 15 minutes without a cooling break. This requirement added approximately 45 minutes to every summer filming day involving the Power Wagon. Number 9. Insurance companies increased premiums 300%. After Season 2 accidents.
Refused to do one particular jump in season 3 after spotting cracks in the frame.
Simon & Simon's popularity demanded increasingly spectacular action sequences as the series progressed. Season 2 featured aggressive car chases, off-road stunts, and dangerous driving that pushed the Power Wagons far beyond normal operational limits. The production experienced 11 separate accidents during that season alone, ranging from minor fender benders to the serious rollover incident that collapsed the fake roll bars. When the insurance company reviewed the claim history, they were appalled by the pattern of destruction. The policy renewal for Season 3 arrived with premiums increased from $42,000 annually to $168,000. That represented a 300% increase that threatened the show's entire budget. Producers frantically negotiated with the insurance company, arguing that safety improvements and reinforced roll cages justified lower rates. The compromise required the production to hire a full-time safety coordinator, limit certain high-risk stunts, and install comprehensive telemetry systems that monitored vehicle speed and G-forces during action sequences. Even with these concessions, insurance costs remained $85,000 per year for the remainder of the series. Over 8 seasons, the production spent over $600,000 just insuring 3 pickup trucks. That money could have purchased 30 brand new Dodge Power Wagons at 1981 prices. Number 8. The chrome front bumper was replaced 17 times after stunt damage.
Said before, it does run, but I've got to use,
The Macho Power Wagon's massive chrome front bumper was one of its most distinctive visual features. That heavy-duty bumper was designed for serious off-road work and could theoretically withstand significant impact. But television action sequences subjected it to abuse that no factory engineer ever anticipated. Scripts regularly called for Rick to ram through gates, push disabled vehicles, or crash through barriers. Each impact bent, cracked, or destroyed the chrome bumper beyond repair. The production replaced the front bumper 17 times across the 3 trucks during the 8-season run. Each replacement bumper cost $950 plus shipping from Dodge parts suppliers who were increasingly confused why one customer needed so many identical bumpers. Here's where costs spiraled out of control. By season 5, original Macho Power Wagon bumpers were no longer available through normal parts channels because the model had been discontinued for years. The prop department had to locate used bumpers from salvage yards, often paying premium prices to collectors who recognized the rarity. 2 bumpers cost over $2,000 each because they came from the few remaining unmolested Macho trucks that owners refused to part out cheaply. By the final season, the production was re-chroming and straightening damaged bumpers because finding replacements had become impossible. Number 7. The electrical system caught fire twice due to aftermarket accessory overload. The Dodge Power Wagon's factory electrical system was designed to handle basic truck functions like headlights, taillights, and dashboard instruments, but television production demanded significantly more electrical capacity. The trucks were equipped with aftermarket fog lights, additional spotlights, interior camera lighting, radio communication equipment, and upgraded stereo systems for sound recording. All these accessories drew power from an electrical system never engineered for such load. During Season 4, smoke began pouring from under the dashboard of the primary hero truck during a routine driving scene. Gerald McRaney immediately stopped and evacuated while crew members extinguished a small electrical fire. Investigation revealed that the added accessories had overloaded the wiring harness, causing insulation to melt and wires to short circuit. The incident could have destroyed the entire truck if flames had reached the fuel system. Production grounded all 3 vehicles for emergency electrical system upgrades, costing $8,000 per truck. The solution involved installing heavy-duty alternators, upgraded wiring harnesses, additional fuses, and a secondary battery to handle accessory loads. Despite these improvements, another electrical fire occurred 18 months later in one of the backup trucks. The constant modification and electrical demand simply exceeded what a 1979 vehicle platform could safely manage. Number 6. The truck bed wood planking. Rotted and was replaced with painted steel.
Sold fewer than 2,000 units before pulling the plug. Marketing blamed the name Macho for...
The original Macho Power Wagon featured a wooden bed floor with oak planks sealed with marine-grade varnish. This was standard construction for quality pickup trucks in the late 1970s. The wood provided a durable surface that could handle heavy loads without denting like steel. But 8 years of California sun, occasional rain during location shoots, and constant abuse from production equipment destroyed that wooden bed floor. By Season 6, the planks had rotted, cracked, and warped beyond acceptable appearance for broadcast television. Splinters became a legitimate safety hazard for crew members loading equipment. The production faced a difficult decision. Authentic replacement oak planking would cost $3,000 per truck and require extensive restoration work, or they could modernize with steel bed floors that would never rot. They chose steel. Custom fabricators created steel bed floors with wood grain patterns painted on the surface to maintain visual continuity. Each steel bed cost $4,500 installed, but they were essentially indestructible. Here's the problem nobody anticipated. The steel beds were significantly heavier than wood, adding 140 pounds per truck. This extra weight further stressed the already overworked suspension and transmission systems. Those steel beds also conducted heat, making the truck bed surface dangerously hot during summer filming. Number 5. The odometer was rolled back 14 times to maintain continuity.
Welcome to the Night Club, guys. It's your host, the Night Wrencher. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to install...
Television audiences pay attention to details, and script supervisors obsess over maintaining visual continuity between episodes. The Power Wagon's odometer created a unique problem that required illegal solutions. Over 8 seasons of filming, the 3 trucks accumulated massive mileage from daily driving to locations, repeated takes, and stunt work. The primary hero truck logged over 215,000 miles during production. But Rick Simon's truck was supposed to be a well-maintained vehicle, not a worn-out heap approaching scrapyard territory. Having the odometer display high mileage would contradict the character and raise questions from observant viewers. The production solution was rolling back the odometer 14 separate times throughout the series run. Each rollback reset the mileage to appear consistent with the show's timeline. Here's the illegal part. Rolling back odometers violates federal law and multiple state regulations designed to prevent fraud. The vehicles were production props, not being sold to consumers, which created a legal gray area. But technically, the production was still breaking the law. Years later, when one of the original trucks was sold at auction, the odometer showed 48,000 miles, while maintenance records documented over 200,000 actual miles. The buyer sued for fraud before discovering the vehicle's Hollywood history. Number 4. The front suspension collapsed during filming and injured a camera operator.
Dozens of crashes without getting scrapped. And why do some claim they saw it?
Solid front axle suspensions are incredibly durable under normal conditions, but the Power Wagon's front end endured punishment that would destroy any vehicle. Constant jumps, hard landings, and off-road abuse eventually fatigued the metal components beyond their structural limits. During a Season 7 episode, the script called for Rick to drive aggressively down a dirt road while being chased. The stunt required speeds approaching 50 miles per hour over rough terrain. On the third take, the driver's side front suspension suddenly collapsed without warning. The wheel assembly separated from the axle housing, causing the entire front corner to drop and the tire to eject violently sideways. The truck spun out of control and crashed into camera equipment positioned alongside the road. Camera operator Dennis Mirren suffered a broken leg and multiple lacerations when the errant tire struck him at approximately 40 miles per hour. Production immediately halted while paramedics transported Mirren to the hospital. Investigation revealed that stress fractures had been developing in the suspension mounting brackets for months, invisible to routine inspections. The failure was catastrophic and predictable given the accumulated abuse. The network paid Mirren's medical expenses and a settlement exceeding $150,000. All three trucks received complete front suspension replacements with reinforced components costing $12,000 per vehicle. Number 3. One truck was secretly stolen and recovered 3 states away. Security around television productions is typically tight, but valuable vehicles remain tempting targets for thieves. During the hiatus between seasons 5 and 6, one of the backup Power Wagons was stored in a production facility in Burbank, California. Someone with inside knowledge bypassed security and stole the truck during a weekend when the facility was minimally staffed. The production discovered the theft Monday morning and immediately filed police reports. Here's where the story gets bizarre. Law enforcement recovered the stolen Power Wagon 6 weeks later in Phoenix, Arizona, over 300 miles away. The thief had been driving it daily, apparently unaware he was operating one of television's most recognizable vehicles. Multiple Phoenix residents had actually recognized the truck from Simon & Simon and reported sightings to local police. The thief was arrested at a grocery store parking lot after an off-duty sheriff's deputy spotted the distinctive red and white paint scheme. The truck sustained significant damage during its adventure, including a cracked windshield, damaged transmission, and approximately $7,000 in bodywork needed. The production decided keeping the theft quiet was better for the show's image. They repaired the truck and never publicly acknowledged the incident until decades later, when insurance documents became public record during an unrelated lawsuit. Number 2. The clutch required daily adjustment and failed 32 times.
Forgets Rick Simon tearing through the sunny streets of San Diego in his fiery red Power Wagon.
Manual transmissions require precise clutch engagement to function properly. The 4-speed transmission in the Macho Power Wagon used a hydraulic clutch system that was already outdated by 1979 standards. Add 8 years of constant abuse from stop-and-go filming, inexperienced actors learning to drive stick, and frequent heavy loads, and you create mechanical disaster. The clutch hydraulic system required adjustment before filming every single day because the engagement point would drift overnight. Mechanics spent the first 30 minutes of each shooting day bleeding air from the lines and adjusting the pedal-free play. Despite this daily maintenance, the clutch failed completely 32 times during the series run. Each failure meant the truck was stranded wherever it died until mechanics could replace the clutch assembly. Replacement clutches cost $850 plus 4 hours of labor. The production spent over $27,000 on clutch repairs alone. Here's the technical nightmare. The oversized tires and added vehicle weight increased clutch wear exponentially. A stock Power Wagon clutch lasted approximately 60,000 miles under normal use. The production trucks burned through clutches every 7,000 miles. By season 8, mechanics were pre-ordering clutch kits in bulk because they knew failures were inevitable and constant. Number 1. All 3 original trucks still exist and are worth over $500,000 combined.
Here down 20, drop here, 19, 20, 19 pound out of 20 pounds.
After Simon & Simon ended in 1995, the 3 battered Power Wagons were sold at a studio auction. They went for surprisingly low prices because potential buyers saw them as used-up production vehicles with salvage titles and over 200,000 miles each. The primary hero truck sold for $9,000. The 2 backup trucks brought $6,000 and $7,000 respectively. Total auction revenue was $22,000. Fast forward to today, and those trucks are worth a fortune. Nostalgia for 1980s television, the extreme rarity of Macho Power Wagons, and the cultural significance of Simon & Simon have created a collector frenzy. One truck sold privately in 2022 for $185,000. Another resides in a private collection with an estimated value exceeding $200,000. The third truck was professionally restored and insured for $150,000. Combined current value exceeds $500,000 for vehicles the studio practically gave away. Here's the irony. Those same accountants who refuse to spend money on proper maintenance now watch as their $200,000 investment appreciated 25 times over. Sometimes the junk you throw away becomes tomorrow's treasure. Rick Simon's Dodge Macho Power Wagon wasn't just a television prop. It was a rare mechanical beast that survived disasters, accidents, and 8 years of brutal abuse. From deadly suspension failures to illegal odometer rollbacks, this truck hid secrets that transformed television history. Those three beat-up pickups became cultural icons worth more than anyone imagined. Sometimes, the most legendary vehicles are the ones that barely survive their own fame.